Okay, you know what? Literally, Iyami can shave just right into my asshole anytime he wants. Literally, just oh my god. Okay, so what is Osomatsu-san? It's kind of hard to explain. It's a comedy anime. It revolves around six devils. I mean brothers. Not only are they brothers, but they're sextuplets. So that's kind of cool. They're all twins basically. Okay, basically it was based off of like this old ass anime from like the 60s, which was all black and white and shit, but then it kind of evolved into the like the 80s, and it was all kind of, it was cute. It was about them as it was about them. Oh my god. Turns out I can't fucking talk. Okay, it was about them as kids, so like they were like 10 or something. But now this new anime that came out in 2015, it's about them as like adults. So them as adults and doing shit, ruining everyone around them's lives, ruining their parents' lives, ruining each other's lives. Oh my god. Ruining each other's lives 10 times more than they ruin everyone else's lives. So basically it's around 26 episodes, and it got huge all over Japan because in the olden days, the 60s and 80s animes were like huge there because they were like children's cartoons, and so like it was like this giant icon. So now that it came back, it went all over Japan all over again. There's like merchandise spitting out of their assholes like 10 times, like freaking 24/7. There's like not only merchandise, but the DVD sales were like top ranking for like months and months and months. And the freaking, there's like, oh my god, so many fans and like cosplayers and just like, you know, general shit like that. It's like all over. Like you go to Japan, there's freaking Osomatsu-san like merchandise, and everywhere you go, you can't escape it. It's just everywhere. You're probably wondering like, why do people even like this show? They look like freaking muppets, but like I think mostly actually women like this show because one thing, the main characters are guys around in their 20s, and each one of them, although in the old animes they didn't have like their own personalities, but now the new ones, they have like each distinctive kind of personalities that I guess everyone kind of picks a favorite, you know, like whatever. And just okay, so you're like probably wondering like, who the hell are these guys? Like they all look the same. They're probably all the same, but no, they're not. They're really not. I'm gonna kind of start from the firstborn to the lastborn. So the first one is Osomatsu. So basically, what the show is named after, and he was kind of the well, not really the protagonist as in the old ones. But he was kind of the one that kind of led them all. He still kind of does when he's an adult. And he's kind of an asshole. He loves money. He has a little shit-eating grin, and he kind of, I don't know, you can never tell if he likes his brothers or if he doesn't, but, you know, and he's kind of like, I want to say a fuckboy, because he's, you know, I don't know. And so, the second one is, Karamatsu, and he's always like, shut up, phone. He's always like, he's like dramatic, and he thinks he's the coolest, and he also wears such horrible fashion, but he thinks he's like so fashionable, and he tries to get girls all the time, but he's just so embarrassing, and none of his brothers want to be around him because he's just so embarrassing. And the third one is Choromatsu. So if you notice, they're kind of all color coded. So anyway, Choromatsu is like the kind of logical one of the group. He's like he wants to get a job since they're all neats and they all live at home and mooch off their parents. So Choromatsu is like the only one who wants to get a job, but he's also kind of like he's obsessed with a Japanese idol. So he's kind of like an idol nerd, and yeah, so that's him. But also he's not only just logical all the time, he can get like really crazy really easily and like yell a lot and shit. So yeah, I mean, the fourth one is Ichimatsu. He's kind of depressed all the time. He loves cats. He's like, that's probably the only thing he cares about. He's known for talking in such a deep monotone voice, and it seems like he hates all his brothers except maybe Jushimatsu, which is the next one I'm going to talk about. Jushimatsu here, he's very bubbly energetic, and he's like off the walls and does inhuman things that you would never seem inhumanly possible. He can, I don't know, and he always has like this giant smile on his face, and he's just very positive. But sometimes he can like do a freaking 180 and like be like really scary and stuff. And the last one is Tonomatsu. He's kind of like a little effeminate, and he's the only one who can probably get girls, and he's the only one with a social life. So he kind of disassociates from his brothers. He's like, when he sees them in public, he's like, oh, I don't know them. So he kind of makes up stuff about his life to make friends and stuff. So he's also kind of two-faced a little bit. So yeah.
And you're probably wondering, like, how the hell are you supposed to tell them apart? But it's kind of easy, especially if you get to know their voice actors too. And also, if you get to know what colors they wear most of the time and their personalities, you really start knowing who's who after like the third episode.
And also, what's kind of funny, like they have like these bishoujo idol versions that kind of show up a few times during the anime. They're still voiced by the same voice actors, but they're supposed to be all like handsome and like, you know, shit like that. So you can kind of tell them apart, especially with that, and that's kind of how I got to know them, was through that. So, and you're probably wondering like, why is the style so different? It's because this is a gag anime. Another gag anime I could probably think of that it's kind of like, you know, Gintama? It's by the same director. So like it changes art styles and like moods like all the time throughout the entire anime. So like there's some other kind of side characters that kind of show up a few times, and basically the main one is Iyami. He's kind of like this shit eater who gets destroyed all the time, and there's Chibita who runs an Odin cart and gets his life destroyed all the time by them, and there's Totoko, who's a girl who they all have a crush on, but she fucking hates all of them and beats them up all the time. And there's like Dion and Decapan, who just, who knows what they do. They're weird. And then there's Hatabo, who's a child, or may not be a child, but he's like fucking rich and shit. There's the parents that show up a few times because they kind of live with them and mooch off them, and they're pissed off. There's like some other characters that show up ever so often, but you basically get to see them when you watch it. So. And like also surprise, because this anime is not only just gags. There's some pretty sad shit in this anime too. Like some episodes will probably make you cry. But like other than those few points, it's pretty funny, and you should totally give it a try because it's like giant in Japan right now. It was giant when it first came out, and it's still giant now. So like, not only is it giant there, but I hear there's a lot of stuff going on in maybe LA or something like that. I don't know. I'm Canadian. Who knows? I'm not American, so I don't know if there's stuff going on with it in America. But literally, just give it a try. Just if you like gags and if you like comedy anime, but you also want something that you want your feelings to stay close to, then give Osomatsu-san a try. It's really good. And TBH, I'm really surprised if you made it to the end of this video because I'm boring as hell.